Dude, I hated the city.
Hey guys, I'm Nate and welcome back to the Homestead. So tonight it's pretty rainy and it's kind of cold. So I thought I would take some time and kind of talk to you guys one-on-one and really kind of talk about a few things. So in the last couple of months that I've been here, my family mainly, and a lot of my friends too, they've asked me, like, Nate, why did you move out of the big city and into the country? You know, I sat down and I really thought about it, because it's something I've kind of really wanted to get a better handle on myself. So I'm sitting there thinking, going, okay, I know why I bought a house. I mean, that much is obvious. I mean, anybody who buys a house usually has a pretty good reason for doing so. And so after a couple of months of, really thinking hard about it, I've come up with several reasons beyond just wanting to own a house. So first and foremost, I lived in Phoenix for a very long time. And while I was in Phoenix, I lived in an apartment complex. Now, I would say within about a 500-600 yard radius of where I was at, I probably had 300-400 people around me. So there wasn't a lot of privacy. We were all kind of jam-packed in together. And it made it not a great environment for someone like me. And I'm an introvert. I like my space. I like quiet. And that was something that I really did not get on a regular basis living in an apartment complex in the middle of Phoenix. Adding on to that, it was hot there. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever lived in a desert. And, I know quite a few people that live in very hot, humid areas. Like, I've visited Dallas. I've got quite a few friends out in Dallas and Houston. And, the heat and the humidity, it really does suck out there. But there's something hard to describe about desert heat, honestly. Yeah, it's a dry heat, but honestly, it sucks. If you ever want to kind of experience what desert heat is like, I would very highly recommend you go to your kitchen, you turn your oven on to about 400 degrees, wait for it to preheat, open it up, and then stick your face in. That's kind of what Phoenix feels like during the summer. On top of that, the heat's bad enough, but one of the things you run into when you live in a big city is crime is a bit of a problem. Now, when I moved into the complex that I was living in before I moved out of Phoenix, I lived in the one zip code where the crime rate was not terrible. It wasn't, crime free, but for living in a big urban city, not bad. So a couple months before I leave Phoenix, there was actually a stabbing in the complex, and it was crazy how I came to find out about it. I work from home, so I don't really go outside all that much unless I really need to. And so I'm going out one night to walk my dog, and I see a bunch of cop cars all the way back at the back of my complex. And I'm sitting there like, what is going on? Like, I didn't even hear sirens. So I approached one of my neighbors and I go, what happened? And she looks at me like dumbfounded that I have no idea what's going on. She goes, somebody was stabbed. It's all over the news. So I go back inside, I pull up the local news on the internet, and lo and behold, there had been a stabbing. I saw a bunch of aerial photographs of my complex, and it freaked me out. Now, luckily, I had already decided that I was going to move away from Phoenix. Like, that was already a decision made in my mind. This was September when this happened. I made my decision to leave probably at the beginning of the March, really just a couple of weeks after losing my mom. So that was already a bit of a problem in and of itself. The cost of living in Phoenix, let me tell you, that is not fun to deal with. And just kind of as an example, Phoenix, where you can have 115 degree temperatures in the middle of the summer, my electric bill in a one-bedroom apartment was $170 a month during the summer. And that is a lot of money. Now, don't get me wrong. I could afford it. And I think most people who work full-time and have okay paying jobs can't afford a cost of living like that. But it was not, it was existing, it wasn't living. I really wanted the ability to have my own piece of land and do what I want with it. And that's not something you can really do in the city. First and foremost, a house about the size of what I'm in now, and I'm in about a 2,000 square foot house. In Phoenix, it would have cost me close to $300,000. In West Virginia, I paid $140,000. Now the house isn't in beautiful shape. I've got quite a bit of work to do to it over the next couple of years, but pretty good shape, just over an acre of land. I'm about 500 yards from my nearest neighbor, and I love it. And finally, and I don't think this is something a lot of people really think about, but as we get older, our parents also tend to get older. And for anybody who's been following me for any length of time, it's pretty well known at this point that I lost my mom back in February of last year. And with me having lost mom, it reminded me that I still had my dad in West Virginia. So I wanted to come out here and spend some time with him, considering I'd been in Phoenix for 20 years and I really didn't know my dad. I'd visited him on occasion through the years. You know, I would fly out to not Phoenix, but I would fly out to West Virginia every so often, and you know, I'd spend a week or two with him, and it was fun. We had a good time. But you know, for a 2,000-mile flight, it sometimes takes months of planning, whereas I live 45 minutes away from him by car now. So now it takes me a phone call to go, "Hey Dad, I'm visiting. Get ready," and you know, he'll get everything together and ready to go. So that was one of the biggest motivating factors for me wanting to move back out here, was so I can spend some time with Dad, and of course have my own little piece of land and try to live the homesteading life. But family was a real big thing for me. But anywho guys, what I'd really like to hear from you all is down in the comments. Let me know, why did you, if you moved from the city, why did you move from the city into the country? And for those of you that are watching that still live in the city and enjoy living in the city, tell me why. I would love to hear from you. Let's get a conversation going about this. And in the meantime, guys, hit that subscribe button. I'm releasing videos all the time, and I'll catch you later.